Hey y'all, welcome into the next video. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're not going to focus on tech or gaming. What we're going to talk about today is the monthly habit that I was focusing on for the month of January. This year, what I have been focusing on and what I want to do is every month try a new habit or hobby to see how I can maybe incorporate that into my life. So for January, I started out with this practice called bullet journaling. Admittedly, I was really intimidated by the idea of bullet journaling when I was getting started because if you Google it or even YouTube it, a lot of what comes up are people who are really artistic, who really plan out things, and who really have themes that go month to month. Admittedly, I'm not an artist. I enjoy making videos and writing creatively, but I've never been a person that was into doodling in the margins unless it was drawing shapes running down the page. It just wasn't me, and so I wasn't really sure starting off if bullet journaling was something that I could really get into. But the more that I looked into it, the more that I realized that bullet journaling is really just a way for people to organize their thoughts differently. And so the key components of bullet journaling are typically there's a habit tracker, there's a monthly view. I did mine top down, I just listed out the numbers 1 through 31 for January, and then wrote in the important events or the content that I was pushing out for that month when those pieces of content were actually published and went live. There's usually a weekly or daily log. I incorporated the daily log. I wasn't as interested in planning out my full week before I got started. So what I did for this month was really just write out each day. I would have a task list that I wanted to get through, any big events that were happening, and then at the end of the day I would write just a couple sentences to be able to remember what I had done over a given day. And I felt like that practice was really helpful, and so I'm glad that I got into bullet journaling. I do think it's something that I'll continue doing, but let's take a look at how I felt at the beginning of the month. This is something that I've been interested in for a minute, and so I wanted to give it a shot. So I am using a journal that was actually given to me as a gift a couple years ago when I finished grad school, and on the cover we have a sticker with a quote from one of my top 5 video games from 2020, Spiritfarer. This was a gift to me from my sister for Christmas, and I just really loved it. And it's a reminder about who I want to be, and the reminder of the value that I hold. So it's a simple just dot grid notebook. So I have on the first page we have kind of a little key set. So this will tell me how many dots are on the length and width of the journal, what the midpoints are, and then down here we have kind of the key for the task list and to-do list that I'll be doing daily. On the back of that page, I also added in a reminder of what the habits are that you'll see on the next page. And then we've got starting out with January. So I have a little date sheet on this first page of January with some important days on my calendar. The kind of next part is kind of what each week and day is going to look like. So I've got my habit tracker on this page. So I want to make sure that I'm hitting all of those habits. If they've got a dot in the square underneath, it means that I did that habit for that day. And then on this page, I have the monthly goals that I want to be able to succeed at for the month. And then I'm doing a simple kind of task list for the day to day. So I was so excited at the beginning, and here's what the journal looks like at the end. Overall, I really did enjoy adding this practice to my morning. Like I was talking about earlier, I'd start my day listing out the really important things for the day that I knew I needed to either get done or be aware of that it was happening. That kind of helped me understand what my priority tasks were for the day, and I would often keep a second list for work of the smaller tasks that I would have to do throughout the day so that I could kind of make sure that I was getting the priority items listed in my bullet journal so that I knew that those were the tasks that I really needed to take care of. I can say that I did notice a difference in the days where I maybe didn't get out of bed early enough before my meetings to list out what the day was going to look like. I didn't, if I'm being honest, I really didn't expect it to make a difference. Like, I thought that because I'm not typically one who thinks about the tasks that I want to do during a given day, I really didn't think that there was going to be that much of a difference between me writing out that task list and me not. But I do think that on the days where I maybe didn't get to write out that list until maybe after my first meeting went, or getting on the computer and scrolling through social media, or scrolling on my phone, I did feel like those days were a little bit more scattered and maybe less directionless, as opposed to the days when I was writing out the priority tasks that I knew I needed to finish. But that may have also just been because I felt off because I got out of bed later than I should have. Who knows? So, like I was telling y'all earlier, I definitely kept my journal really simple. I knew that if I made it overly complicated, that it wasn't going to be a practice that I kind of kept up throughout the entire month. If I was trying to draw things for every day, or do multiple things that I had to track every single day, I knew that this was going to be something that was way too complicated for what I was interested in, and so I made sure to just keep it as simple as possible. So you won't see, or you likely didn't see a lot of extra bits that I was adding into the journal. That's something that I might do as I get into the practice further. But just to get started, I was just nope, we gotta make this as simple as possible so that it doesn't feel like extra work when I'm setting up the bullet journal for either the full month or for the date that's coming. And I think that that's what helped me stay consistent with it, because it wasn't something that I felt like I had to work at to do. And I think that that was really important for me, particularly in the first month of this new habits exercise. What I really focused on for this month was the content that I was pushing out, 4 habits that I was interested in seeing, how consistently I could do those throughout the month, and then keeping track of what I was doing day by day. I really have appreciated that daily log that I've been doing, because it's been a good way for me to reflect on kind of what I have done and maybe what I've been avoiding over the month of January. So I've really appreciated that part of this exercise. And admittedly, it does feel like I did a lot in the month of January. So I am frequently someone who feels like I'm not really doing anything, even though I know that I have done things over the course of a month or a couple days. And so this bullet journal, whether it's through the daily log or through the content section that I made, it has been a really good way for me to not sit in this feeling of, dang, you really didn't do anything with the last month. What have you really been doing? It's been a really cool way to see how I have kind of continued to be consistent with the things that I care about. So I got all 4 articles out. Assuming that this video gets out on the 31st, I'll have gotten 3 out of 4 YouTube videos out, which, although I am a little bit disappointed that I wasn't able to get 4 videos out, I'm still proud of myself that I got 3 out of 4. I'm trying to be kinder to myself as I'm producing content, because I did start a full-time job. I'm still streaming a couple times a week on Twitch, and I have all of these other pieces in my life that I'm still attending to, and so I'm still proud of myself for getting at least 3 videos out over the course of the month. What I am a little bit more disappointed in myself is that I didn't get the 3 books for the month finished. Assuming that I can get some of my other tasks done today, I am hoping to at least get a couple more books read, and so the book that I ended up finishing, and I think I'm going to read the second one, is the first Scott Pilgrim graphic novel. I found that I did actually enjoy it. I love the Scott Pilgrim movie, but it wasn't, I'd never read the graphic novels. And so I'm having a little bit of fun getting to actually read the material that created the movie that I really enjoy. So I'm planning on reading the second one. And then I'm also hoping to finish this book called Emergent Strategy, which is kind of a new way to look at leadership and how we interact not only with the world, but with ourselves, and how we have to start making changes in our personal lives in order to see the ripples of that affecting our larger communities. It's been a really cool book, and I'm interested to see how the book is going to end, and what are the steps that the author suggests moving forward. Also, bullet journaling helped me realize that I really like seeing like the full month listed out on one page, not in a traditional calendar view. And so, as y'all saw when I showed you the bullet journal at the beginning of the month, for January, I just wrote out 1 to 31 from like the top to the bottom of the page and then listed out the important things that were happening. And like I like that view a lot, and so that's definitely something that I will continue to use moving forward because it's been really helpful to like even see the progression of the month moving forward. So shout out to bullet journaling for teaching me that I really like being able to see my month in that view. Overall, I'm really glad that I started this practice. I'm pretty sure that it's one that I'm gonna continue doing throughout this year. I may add or subtract some things that I maybe didn't find to be overly helpful, but it is something that I'm interested in continuing, if only so that I can keep track of my progress throughout the year. There were definitely days where I did my recap the next morning because I either stayed up too late or, if I'm being honest, I forgot to write up the couple sentences on how the day went. But it did help me be more intentional about thinking about how I'm spending my time throughout the day and how like maybe there are some tasks that I just generally avoid doing and tasks that I'm really excited and get done right away. I also love that having this bullet journal allows me to see kind of where I started at the beginning of the month and how I did at the end. And so tracking that whole process of seeing the things that I did accomplish and seeing that like I could rely on myself to do the work that I want to do. Like that has been a really cool exercise throughout the entire experience that I'm definitely really thankful for, that I want to continue throughout the year. Bullet journaling for the last 31 days has been great. I definitely recommend trying it out, even if it's just with like a spiral bound notebook, a pen or a pencil, and an idea. It really doesn't take anything more than that, no matter what you see some of these like really fancy setups on bullet journaling. Really, all that you have to do is like have a notebook, have a pen, and then just start like building habit trackers or daily logs or even just like journaling. Like it really doesn't have to be bullet journaling, but I would recommend some kind of practice that allows you to reflect either on the day that has happened or the month that has happened, especially if you're someone like me who maybe sits in the feeling of, wow, I don't do enough. I don't really feel like I'm doing anything at all. Bullet journaling will help you realize that no, you are actually accomplishing a lot, and maybe you're just being kind of harsh on yourself in terms of what you are actually accomplishing. Thanks for watching, y'all. Again, if you check out bullet journaling, let me know down in the comments, and I will see y'all in the next video. Hit that thumbs up button if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Have a good one.